Should Cell have been the one chosen to be revived instead of Frieza? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dragon Ball video. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and give this video a like. Drop a comment on what you guys think would have made the better choice, Frieza or Cell. I'm joined here today by my good friend, EmoshisLivyd. You can check out his channel at the end of the video in the annotations. Emish, bro, thanks for joining me, man. How are you today?
I am great. Thanks for having me, and hey, man, it's good to be here. I love your work. Definitely the voice impressions are my favorite, but yeah, good to be here. Let's do this.
Thanks, bro. So, you know, I wanted to get your thoughts, and we all know Frieza's making a comeback. That's nothing new. But today I wanted to talk to you about if you think Cell, Perfect Cell would have been the better choice. I just want to say very quickly that I think Frieza would have been helpful power-wise, but let's just say that, you know, Cell would have been the person that they wanted to bring back. And just to make it fair, let's set up the situation that they both have the same to offer in terms of power. Who do you think as a character, in your opinion, would make the arc more valuable, probably would have progressed the series a lot better? Do you think Cell would have been the better choice than Frieza? What are your thoughts?
Well, there's two things that we need to look at. If this was going to be just a one-time thing, just for the Tournament of Power, and they're not going to drag the character into the upcoming arc or series or whatever basically happens after this tournament, and that's probably why they chose Frieza, right? I would imagine, right? If it's just a quick 1, 2, 3, bang, 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 and we're out, you know, help us out, boom, you're done, and that's it. And maybe potentially Frieza might even have a place in the upcoming arc. We don't know that yet, but just from a perspective where we're looking at it from the outside in, I think it would be safe to say maybe that's why they went that route. Power aside, obviously, like we just said. But if they wanted to improve on a character, on a previous villain, who could have had some kind of potential, not only in this arc, but perhaps down the line overall. I'm not saying Cell would have turned out to be a good guy by any means. I'm just saying maybe he could have had more use because of his utility, because of his versatility, because of what he's pretty much made up of, his genetic makeup. He's made up of Frieza, he has Goku, Vegeta, you know, amongst others as well. Piccolo, for example, he can regenerate. So he's very clutch. He's very full of himself, yes, but Frieza's no exception to that rule. But he could have definitely provided the arc with a much more, I think, a widespread experience where you can see the Kamehameha wave being used by more than just the Saiyans. Instant transmission, he does know instant transmission now. But I think mainly there's probably three things as to why they chose Frieza over Cell. Aside from power, it would be the market value. I think that's the main thing there. Frieza is a very big dollar sign. In terms of the villains, he's loved by many people. He's met as far as the villains goes. But other than that, power-wise, market value, and just a quick 1, 2, 3, and we're done with it. The re-revival of F, I call it.
Right. I saw you posted a video, I think, with the re-revival of F. Yeah, I saw that. You guys should check that out on his channel. Emish has some really good content on his channel. But you know, I agree definitely about that. Frieza is probably one of the most iconic villains in terms of Dragon Ball. Whether people chose not to keep up with it, or people, if they've watched Dragon Ball, they know who Frieza is for sure. And you know, Frieza has probably been the key to Dragon Ball since the very beginning, even though he wasn't really focused on in the Saiyan saga. I mean, he's Frieza, he's the Emperor, he destroyed the Saiyans' planets. The build up for the character was, you know, it was perfect. So I completely understand why they chose Frieza. I think, you know, like you said, Cell has a lot more things to offer in terms of abilities. Like, you know, he is made up of everybody else's cells. He has the genetic makeup to Vegeta, Piccolo, you know, all the other fighters, and the techniques that he could offer within the tournament would be superior. I really, he could still grow,
and he could still grow. That's the thing.
Yeah,
he can. Right.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is, how would they, you know, get Cell up to that level? Because the amount of power boost, the amount of power that Frieza had within his power boost in just 4 months, it's almost impossible, you know, if they would have chosen Cell, unless they would have come up with some crazy bullshit, you know, reason as to how they could power him up, you know, I don't know.
Right. Well, he is made up of, like, what, 2 Saiyans, primarily Goku and Vegeta, the strongest Saiyans in existence thus far, right? So if they wanted to follow the rule like they did with when Zamasu possessed Goku and became Goku Black, he could grow in the middle of this tournament, figuratively speaking, especially the way they handle power scaling in Dragon Ball Super as a whole. He could have grown in this tournament without any question. He doesn't need to train. We know that he's an exceptional fighter. We know he has he's probably another version of Boo in a sense. Not because because they're the same, but because they're the same in the sense where they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. They can give you so many, like a big variety of techniques of attacks. They can fight different styles. They don't have to, you know what I'm saying? We've seen Cell do a lot. And we've seen Cell can absorb people just like Majin Buu can. Majin Buu can copy attacks as to where Cell can learn them and use them for his own as well. So they have a lot of similarities, but ultimately, bro, I really think, man, it just comes down to the money. Because this arc, man, this Tournament of Power has so much hype behind it, man. To this day,
it does.
It's like people, I mean, Zeno-sama himself, if you guys follow the spoilers, I don't mean to mention it, but Zeno-sama, he actually said that he tells the Daishinkan to tell everybody that he wants the Tournament of Power to start right now. So that's there's big similarity between the fan base and Zeno himself, right?
Right.
Well, so that's what I see.
Well, I mean, I think that regardless, even though they didn't choose Cell, you know,
yeah.
I'm excited for Frieza to come back. At first, I was a little bit disappointed, but now it's starting to set in. You know, when something you give something some time, and I feel like it's starting to set in. And it's like, all right, I might as well accept it for what it is. You know, Frieza's coming back. Let me see if they can do it right. So I hope that, you know, he comes back and that they have a good reasoning as to why he would help. Because I made a video before about the reasoning as to what deal or what reason Frieza would come back and what deal they would make with him to actually convince him to help the Universe 17. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. What do you think would be the deal that they make with Frieza, or why would they make Frieza? What could they say to him to convince him to help them in the Tournament of Power?
Well, the short answer in most people's eyes would be like, well, he doesn't really have a choice, right?
Right. That is the most basic.
Right. He can get out of hell, or he can be alive for a day, maybe conjure up some kind of scheme from there. There's really, like, I don't want to say there's a lot of possibilities, but I will say from my perspective, because I also touched upon it as well in the video that you referenced to, the one and primary thing that he's always wanted, in terms of, because he had power already, was the power of immortality. He wanted to be able to live forever, so that way he can conquer the galaxy forever. Up until Goku came along. So Frieza and the Dragon Balls as a whole have always went hand in hand with one another. And now the fact that we have Dragon Balls that are far superior to the Dragon Balls he was initially looking for back in the day is, I mean, wow. I mean, and we know for a fact Goku cannot pull the 10 million Zenny card on Frieza because he doesn't care about money.
Right.
So the only thing would be, listen, Frieza, we'll bring you back to life. So even if Goku does lie to him and say, we'll bring you back to life, but then he tells Baba, listen, only one day, okay? Like, don't tell him about that shit.
Right.
Right. But then we can say, well, then he mentioned, well, listen, Frieza will say, what's in it for me? Oh, there's these things called the Super Dragon Balls. Oh, I don't care about those damn Dragon Balls no more. But no, but listen, they're planet sized. They can grant any wish. There's no limit. It's one wish, but there's no limit to what it can grant. The extent of its power, there's no limit to what you can ask for. Then Frieza will go, I see, okay. It may, you know, give him some persuasion. Then from there, even if he denies it, well, you know, Hakai.
Right, exactly.
You know?
He gets wrecked anyways.
So,
I was thinking they could always promise him a better situation in Hell. Maybe not keep him, you know.
I suppose. But Hell's never a good place anyway.
Yeah, I know. But I guarantee you it would give him a better position to, you know, to suffer, well, I guess.
The thing is, I would say, like, since we're both here talking about a character, right? Mm-hmm. We know, and if we were talking about maybe another villain, we could say something like that, right? Just put him in a better position. But we know Frieza is not, to him, the better position is the best position. And that best position is to be above everybody else. And the fact that Golden Frieza was such a big and dramatic power boost, despite it being based on a movie and stuff like that, so they had to follow the script, etc., etc. But aside from that, his ability to grow is there. It's astonishing. It's there. And the fact that if he were immortal, there's no telling what he could do down the line. So that coincides with what I just referenced before when I mentioned if they decide to drag him out, right? So I would say Frieza aims for the top. He always aims big. He's not a small fish. His history is more than enough to back that up. So I think that's what it's going to be.
All right, awesome. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like. Emish, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's always a pleasure, bro. You know.
No, thank you, man. Listen, man, I'm glad that, you know, I finally I'm getting the chance to actually do more collaborations with people as well as you, man. I'm a big fan. Don't get me wrong. Like your voice impression. Speaking of which, if you don't mind, since we're talking about Cell, I think your fans, I think everybody who's going to be watching this video for the first time wants to get Cell's point of view on why he wasn't chosen for the Tournament of Power.
Well, there I was in hell, and Goku walked right past me. I said, Goku, oh, you're back for a rematch, yes. No, he ignored me. He went to Frieza. For Jesus Christ, I mean, what do I have? What don't I have that Frieza has? I mean, really, really, I have everything to offer. I am perfect. I killed him.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. You know, it's always a pleasure,
guys,
bro.
Make sure you keep supporting Devil Artemis, man. Up and coming, but definitely the potential is there. And hopefully we can do more discussions like this, man. Thank you.
Definitely, man. Yo, guys, check out this man's channel. He's super talented. He has wonderful content on his channel. Brilliance at its best, people. Trust me. Trust me.
Thank you.
Check out his channel, all right? Anyways, guys, I'm Devil Artemis, and I'll see you all in the next Dragon Ball video.